We're not here to make up the numbers, we're here to compete as well. This squad, with the power they have on their day, they can do anything they want.
Hello, welcome to the Glassgirls Network with me, Jonathan. Today I'm joined by our first ever girls section player, Darcy. How are you doing, Darcy?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us. Darcy, with your dad today, Mark. How are you keeping, Mark? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Fantastic. Look, thanks for coming on the show. It means a lot because this channel doesn't just follow its first women's team, it follows the reserve team, the development team, under 16s, 15s, 12s, 9s, and even the academy team as well. So to have an under 16s player on is great. So thank you for joining us. First things first, Darcy, how are you? I can see that your fingers are bandaged up. I know you haven't been playing for a little bit, so how are you after your injury?
Yeah, I'm alright with it, to be fair. I'm only going to be out for 4 weeks, so that's alright for a break. I did it like 2 weeks ago, and I've got an X-ray on Wednesday, so like make sure it's all mended okay.
Okay.
And then after that, I think we could be back in 2-3 weeks.
That's good. So you obviously missed a couple of games, but there's still quite a few games before the end of the season for you to get involved in then. What have you been doing like with the time off? Is it like frustrating not being able to get to a game? How have you found it?
Yeah, we've had loads of good games as well that I've been like wanting to play in, but I've just been training like normal, but like not in goal.
Yeah.
So with my feet and like going to sessions still, but like switching it around so I'm using my feet instead.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, Mark, because I remember you putting a tweet out or a status on Facebook somewhere asking about one-to-one coaching, and I know that you've found somewhere that can support Darcy on that, like additional training. Just talk to us a little bit about that, just like away from Stourbridge, just like the extra training that Darcy is doing at the moment.
Yeah, so since Darcy started really from the age of about 8 or 9, and she took a fondness and wanted to go in goal because I never played in goal, and the team that she was like involved with, there was no sort of goalkeeping like specialists there. She's always done sort of one-to-one goalkeeper sort of coaching, at least sort of once a week usually, or when we could. But I think this year the coach that she'd used for, I don't know, since she started really, wasn't it, for about 4 or 5 years, he'd stopped doing it because he'd got other work commitments and sort of couldn't commit. So yes, we started having a look around, and TNG Coaching, who was recommended to us via social media. She's been sort of working with them on a Thursday for an hour, probably for the last 7 or 8 weeks, maybe. And it's really good because it's sort of like specific goalkeeper coaching by young goalkeeper himself. He's still playing at a good level himself. I think he's only 22, and sort of done his sort of coaching qualifications, and it just gives her, I think, something different, or someone different to learn from and pick up different tips from. But she also does sort of one-to-one, well, not really one-to-one, it's more group work, but specific goalkeeper work with Louis Solly, who's like the men's first team keeper coach. Yeah. They do that on a Wednesday for an hour as well, which is fantastic really, because a lot of clubs, grassroots clubs or otherwise, don't offer that sort of specific sort of goalkeeper work. So it's been really positive. She's doing
got a lot going on, definitely. Yeah. So throughout the week then, obviously you get school Monday to Friday. What other training sessions do you do with Stourbridge? Is it just on a Tuesday, or is it slightly different with the girls section? Because on the women's section they train Tuesdays and Thursdays. When do you train with Stourbridge at all?
Tuesday and Thursday, yeah.
And then solely on Wednesdays as well.
That's right, yeah.
So it's quite a busy schedule then. Obviously then play on the Saturday.
And yeah, that's right. I mean, Ryan has said, to be fair, and always said that because of the work that Darcy does with Louis Solly on a Wednesday, that if she wanted to drop or couldn't make one of the Tuesdays or the Thursdays, that there'd be no problem, that, you know, because of the work that she does on a Wednesday with Louis. Yeah. So that's good. But just before she had the broken finger injury, you'd just done the first session, hadn't you, with Aaron Collins on a Tuesday, and with the first team keepers and so on. So yeah, bad timing, wasn't it? We were unlucky.
We just mentioned a little bit about training there, and I've mentioned school as well. What's like this school environment like then regarding football, and especially football for girls? So when I was growing up, there was no girls team; it was just literally just a boys team. Obviously, that was a good 20-25 years ago now. Is there like girls football teams at your school? Is that like a normal thing there? Is that common?
Yeah, it's pretty normal at my school. We have like the girls team is probably better than the boys team. Like we're in the county cup and we were in the national cup.
Okay.
But we just got knocked out of that by some sort of a school.
Yeah.
But Gloucestershire school when they Cleve, I think.
Okay.
Do
you play goal there as well? Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
We won the county cup last year.
Yeah.
And then we're still in it now.
That's cool. It is great to see, because obviously I don't think it gets spoken about enough. We talk a lot around Stourbridge Football Club about the growth of the game, and we talk about the growth of women in leadership and women coaches, but I don't really think we talk too much about girls football and like the school and like what schools can potentially do. What about like your classmates? Do they ever talk about football, about like how you're getting on at Stourbridge, or does that conversations ever come up at school about how well you're doing in Stourbridge?
Yeah, but a lot of girls that I speak to at school play in the Central Warwickshire League as well, so we all play against each other, but they're like the under 15s.
Yeah.
So they're playing against the under 15 Stourbridge.
Yeah.
And there's a girl that plays for them in my year at school.
Okay.
So it's like a rivalry.
Yeah, I get that. And to be fair, you're quite close in age group with the 15 and 16, so I bet you got quite a decent relationship with some of the McBailey's team, the under 15s. Yeah. That's cool. Talk to us a little bit about like how you ended up at Stourbridge, or do you want to maybe lead us on? What made you bring Darcy to Stourbridge, and when was that?
Yeah, well, it was. This is the first season, isn't it, for you at Stourbridge? So,
okay.
Darcy was at West Bromwich Albion for 3 years prior to this, and sort of got released in the summer, which she took really well. At West Brom there was a jump. We were currently in the under 14s at the end of last season, and there's no under 15s, so it was a jump up to under 16 level.
Yeah.
And I think they kept about 5 girls on from the younger group out of a squad of about 16, and but kept a lot of the older girls on. And from Darcy's team last year, they let both goalkeepers go, so Darcy and her friend that also played there in goal. Which I think helped a little bit, because it wasn't like they were picking one over the other and thought, we don't think you're very good, but we think you're great, so we're going to get you. So I think that helped a little bit. And then so from there, I knew a little bit about Stourbridge, and I'd been sort of following the story and how well the women team were doing, and the pathway and so on. And when Darcy was playing for a grassroots team prior to West Brom in the early years, we'd come across G and Amy, and I think initially for me, it was I thought that Darcy might have gone into the under 15s because of that being her age group, and it was Amy initially, because I thought, oh, that'd be good, because Amy Preston's the first team goalkeeper at the time. She coaches the under 15s. And I thought that might be great for Darcy being a goalkeeper. And then when we spoke to them, which was really nice of them, they said, listen, we think Darcy would be too good for our age group, and that she could play up a year. And then they put us in touch with Ryan, went down and sort of done like a trial session, and bless Ryan, I think before we got home he was asking us if or letting us know that he was really interested in signing us. That's to be honest with you. And then from what I've seen, and I'd say to anyone that outside of the so-called academy professional clubs, for me this I think this is the equivalent
Yeah.
Or if, you know, worst case, next best, you know, next best up, you know, we've really enjoyed it, haven't we?
So I think we're really lucky as well that the club created a role for Callum Terry as well, who looks after the girls section amongst his other million other jobs that he's probably got going on. But that's a role that the club created, paying a full-time wage to be able to support in that as well. So obviously a lot of clubs, I'm sure, will have their own individual managers, i.e. your Meg Bailey's, your Ryan Magsons, G obviously previously. But we've also got Callum who supports as well, which is a massive bonus for this club. Speak just a bit about Ryan Magson then. So obviously he's definitely his 2024 running with everything that he's got going on at the moment. What's your relationship with Ryan like?
Yeah, it's really good. He's more of like, he focuses on every single individual player and like helps everyone.
Yeah.
So it's not like you get focused on. Like since I've been at Stourbridge, my confidence has gone through the roof. And like it's like Ryan and Dave and so that's why that's why they're really good at it.
Okay. I remember one of the first times I saw you play this season, I think it was in a pre-season game. I was there with the first team coaches, Mike and Andy, and they were so took back in a good way about your distribution abilities, and I think that always stuck in my head because it's not. I don't know. The coaches on the sidelines that I chat to, their knowledge is way over my head. I just follow the ball. That's all I look at. You know, I just follow the ball. But some of the things we've talked about, your positioning, being like high up the pitch, all this kind of stuff, is probably all basics for you guys who probably hear me day in, day out. But I couldn't get over the amount of times that Andy and Mike said very positive things about you, and obviously hearing that what G and Amy said as well, and Ryan. So it's going really well for you. It sounds like it's going really well for you at least. Going into next season then, so obviously you're like kind of one step away. I know that like you're towards a younger age of like your footballing group. Is that your kind of passion to go into the development team when you're 16?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Like playing on a Sunday, playing against women, obviously not 16-year-olds anymore. It will be against older people.
I really want to do it. I want to stay on the pathway. I think it would be like, it's like you're looked after. So I've got like, when I'm over 16, obviously I could play in the reserves, I could play in the development team, and I can push to the first team.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on obviously keeping Darcy at Stourbridge and watching her go through to the development team, reserve team? Because there are other options as well. Obviously, I think Darcy's at the nail on the head there. She will be looked after. We know that. I'm surrounded by the people who do look after her, and I can't speak highly enough of the people who will. But there will be some parents that might be thinking, oh well, maybe we need to find a club that plays under 18s first, for example. What do you think the advantages of going into women's football at this age are?
Yeah, well, it's a little bit difficult for us at the moment because Darcy's not a true under 16. She's still only 14, and she won't be 15 until the season's finished, because like in June. Yeah. Which means that she'll go through the whole of next season as well as a 15-year-old and won't be 16 until that season's finished. So we're a little bit behind the other girls in the 16 team in terms of age and what they might be able to do next year. So our option would be Meg Bailey's sort of team and slotting in there. From a development point of view, I really like the idea that the development team playing an open age league. Yeah, I think that's good because I think that brings them on physically and like playing open age football. I suppose from a selfish point of view, I was talking to another parent yesterday about it. We were saying that we wish we had an under 18 team because his daughter is also playing for you. Because these girls could play under 18 football next year, but because the development team's open age, that's why they're going to have the block. Yeah. So yes, I understand why we do it the way we do it with the development team. Because I think it'll bring the young girls that turn 16 on quicker. So yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean that's definitely a good thing. As I say, I suppose Darcy just has to like bide her time a little bit, keep working hard, and make sure that she's ready when the chance comes.
And I'm sure there'll be a plan in place. I know the powers higher than us will already know that, and we'll have a plan in place. So I look forward to seeing what that will actually be. Talk to us about the rest of the season then. So you got a semi-final. Obviously you're not able to play unfortunately due to your injury, but there's a semi-final this Saturday, isn't there? Rest of the season, what do you think is a good aim for the under 16s team to be trying to go towards?
I think if we, it's say if we're going through like a bit of a rough patch, but only like unlucky games, like we're losing games by like 1 or 2 goals, when we're like going up by 1-0 or 2-0.
Yeah.
And I think when we played Lionhead last week at the top of the league, and we lost 1-0, but we could have won like 2-1, 1-0. But it's just like being unlucky, and it happens. But I think if we carry on playing well, played well against Stratford, and we come away with a 2-1 win, we could keep playing well. We could be pushing for top 3, top 4, and I reckon we could win the cup as well, or at least get into the cup final.
Do you agree with that? Do you think that's a fair kind of?
Yeah, I do. I think there's only been one game this season where we took a big loss against Coventry. But like Darcy said, the other games that when we sort of went through a bit of a rough patch, we were losing 2-1, 3-2, and they were close games, and yeah, we wasn't playing as well as we could have. But since Christmas, the last 2 matches in particular, Stratford away, we won 2-1. They were 4th in the league, doing really well. And really there was times in that match where we could have been out of sight and 3 or 4 goals up. So I think the second half of the season, most of them games where we lost by the odd goal, if we can perform like we've done the last couple of weeks, I think we'll turn those results around. And like Darcy said, I still think a top 5 finish is achievable for this team.
Yeah, I agree. I've managed to watch you probably about 3 or 4 times during pre-season and maybe 2 or 3 throughout the season. So I've seen a good handful of games, and the ones that I haven't seen, I know Rich Clark, who does all the social media, he speaks so highly of the team as well, and I thoroughly agree. I can't wait to see how this team develops, and it's great to see a couple of those players playing Sunday just gone in the development team. Ryan's obviously, I think the plan all along was to somehow involve him in the development team. And now to see him actually taken over as a manager of both teams until the end of the season, I think is only great for the pathway. So I thought that, and I also love what the under-16s do in regards to social media. I think they treat Darcy and the players like their first teamers. The amount of attention in regards to new signings, people who have stayed, people's birthdays, people's highlights. I've seen worse tier 4, tier 5 first teams than what Ryan Maxson does on his Facebook, more than Twitter. But I think what the under-16s are doing is really setting the benchmark on social media, at least, for others to follow. And I think it really is great to see. It's always good just to shout out a couple of your teammates before you go, Darcy, and by all means, Mark, shout out a couple of yourself, a couple of maybe standout players or people, or who kind of takes you right, who's like your best mates, all that kind of stuff. Who do you enjoy playing with and watching?
I think most of them as well. They're all it's quite like a homely team. It's really friendly. Like everyone looks after each other. It's like everyone's mates. It's all like the change room atmosphere is really good. Like Abby is like the captain, and she's a really good captain. She's a good example, and she always works as hard as she can. She sets a good example for everyone.
Abby, I don't know Abby. I think you can just about picture her. Mark, yourself, or maybe parents as well. Who's like your closest people that you chat to as well?
So we've got Simon, who's Leaf's dad. He's a good guy. He's like a Yorkshireman.
Okay.
He's brilliant. We've got Scott, who's the Aussie, the mad Aussie who likes to run the line, and that's Sophia's dad. He started more or less the first training session that his daughter did with Darcy, so we sort of started together. And then Greg, whose son plays for the Stourbridge first team, Harvey.
Okay.
And then our daughter plays for Darcy's team, Lily.
Yeah.
And she was one of the girls that played for the Devs.
I know, Lily P.
Lily P, yeah. And she's doing really well this year. And I think the reason why I think it's a good thing that when they turn 16 they can train with the development team is because since Lily's been training with the development team, she's come back. She's always been a good player, but her confidence is just head and shoulders. I mean, last couple of games she's been like a rock, which just proves the point. Like they're saying, that playing with older, training with older girls, playing with older girls, picking up tips and learning from them can only be a good thing moving forward.
Look, thank you very much. I can see time's ticking on, so I'm going to let you crack on. Enjoy the rest of your night. I think I'm going to be watching the Man City game shortly, so that's what I'll be doing. I'll be sticking around here. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. It's something that we need to get into more. I'd love to be highlighting the under 16s, 15s, 12s and 9s more often. So if anyone's watching this and your parents want to come on with their children, by all means, I'm open to that. But thank you for leading the way on that, Darcy, no problem, because it means a lot to me, does. So thank you very much. Pleasure. And best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you.